So recognizing PLLs from two sides is really important, especially if your algorithm can be done from this angle. In this case, this is an A Perm and the algorithm is done from this angle. So recognizing this A Perm from just these two sides is quite important. So normally what you do when you recognize A Perms is you look for the block. You look on this side, no headlights, look at the back, or headlights here, it's definitely the A Perm, and then you do the algorithm. But the problem with that is that was quite a recognition system and it can be done a lot faster. So an improvement over the previous technique is to see the block here, so it's probably one of the A Perms. Look over here, no headlights, deduce that the headlights must be at the back, so I don't have to look at the back anymore and just do the algorithm. And so that is an improvement because I don't have to look at the back, but I still have to look at three sides, which is not too bad, but that can be improved on as well. So here's another example when we have the 2x2 block and I look over here, there's no headlights, so it must be the A Perm with headlights at the back, right? Well, not really, because this one is actually a V Perm, and that just shows that that recognition system that I showed in the previous clip doesn't always work. So instead of looking at the 2x2 block and looking at where the headlights are, or if there's any headlights at all, there's a nice two-sided recognition system just looking at these two sides here that can differentiate between both A Perms and the V Perm. And it goes like this. So when you see the 2x2 block and these two colors on the sides here are matching, it's definitely one of the A Perms. It's either the ones with the headlights on the back or the one with the headlights on the side. So once again, from these two sides you can tell where the headlights are just by looking here. And the way to tell is that if these are opposite colors, then the headlights are on the opposite side of the opposite colors. So that was quite a lot to take in, but basically red and orange are opposite colors, so which means that the headlights are on the other side of this side, which is over here, and the headlights are indeed on this side here. So just by looking at this side, I can deduce that the headlights are at the back, so I know exactly which A Perm it will be. So similarly, if we get this case, this one also has matching colors here, so it's definitely one of the A Perms. Now it's time to deduce where the headlights are. So I notice that this time these are not opposite colors, so orange and blue are not opposite colors, so it's definitely not going to be headlights on this side. So I look over here, I notice that blue and green are opposite colors, which means that this time the headlights are going to be on this side because it's on the other side of the opposite colors. So once again, I can deduce the headlights are on here, bar is here, so I know exactly which A Perm this one is. And finally, how to tell that this is a V Perm and not an A Perm is that these are all opposite colors. So notice that blue and green are opposite colors, red and orange are also opposite colors. So if you have both opposite colors, you can't have headlights on both sides, so it's definitely not an A Perm because it has no headlights. It's definitely going to be a V Perm. So just by looking at these two sides, I can tell that this is a V Perm. I can go straight into the algorithm. Now J Perms should be quite easy to recognize, especially if you get it from this two-sided angle here, when you have the 3x1 block and this 2x1 bar here. From this angle, it's most definitely going to be a J Perm. But what if we got it from this angle? Then there's not really a defining 3x1 bar, so it could be an N Perm for all I'm concerned. So what's the difference between J Perm and an N Perm? Well, this is an N Perm and it looks the same from every side, but the defining characteristic about an N Perm is that if you look on any side, these are always going to be opposite colors. So if I'm looking at this side, it's only blue and green. If I'm looking at this side, it's only red and orange, and that's the same for every side. So just from two sides, if I see two sides with opposite colors, I know it's going to be an N Perm. So similarly, if we have a look at this PLL, this one has opposite colors on this side. As you can see, this is blue and green, but if we look on this side, this is blue and orange. So this is not opposite colors on every side. So if we see a similar pattern, these 2x1 blocks, but one of the sides doesn't have opposite colors, it's going to be a J Perm. And if we look at this side, for instance, the same characteristic. So this one has opposite colors, but these are not opposite colors. So once again, this is a J Perm. And if you get it from this angle, you'll see the 3x1 bar, and by that time it should be pretty obvious what PLO it is. But just by looking at two sides, you should be able to tell, because it's not opposite colors, that this is indeed a J Perm. So this PLO here looks like an E Perm, right? Well, from these angles, it kind of does. But then if you look at the back, you'll notice that there is a bar and it is indeed an F Perm. But if you're not looking at the bar, how can you tell that this is an F Perm but not an E Perm? So to answer that question, let's have a look at the characteristics of an E Perm. So this PLO is indeed an E Perm, and the way to recognize which angle to hold it would be matching these two stickers up. But the thing about E Perms is that the headlights or corner stickers will always be opposite colors, here and here on every side, and that's how you know that this is an E Perm. So if I got this E Perm from this angle, for instance, I notice that these are opposite colors, these are opposite colors. There's definitely not going to be a bar on this side and definitely no bar on the back, so it's not an F Perm, it's definitely an E Perm. And matching these two colors, it's going to be done from this angle here. So similarly, if we go back to this PLO and we recognize the corner stickers, we notice that these two are opposites, but these two corner stickers are adjacent, which means that the bar has to be on this side, so it's next to the adjacent side. So this one has the bar and it's definitely an F Perm. So if we recognize it from this angle as well, opposite headlights and adjacent headlights here. So once again, bar over here, it's an F Perm. So with an E Perm, there's never going to be an adjacent set of headlights anywhere around the cube. So as soon as you see adjacent pair of headlights and you see similar corner, similar patterns to the E Perm, it's most likely going to be an F Perm. And that's why they call it the F Perm. So some other easy PLOs to recognize from two sides include all the EPLOs. So if you have opposite colors here, adjacent colors here, it's most likely going to be the U Perm. And if you have opposite colors on all sides, it's going to be the H Perm. And then if we have matching colors next to each other, it's going to be the Z Perm. And also PLOs such as the T Perm should also be pretty easy to recognize from two angles. So from this angle here, it's got opposite colors where the headlights are, so it's definitely going to be a T Perm with another orange bar at the back here. From this angle, we have a bar here and then opposite colors here, so it's definitely going to have headlights at the back, T Perm. Similar recognition technique from this angle, and then from this angle similar to the first angle but mirrored. So finally, I want to talk about three-sided PLL recognition. So it may seem like three-sided is a lot slower than two-sided, and it is slower, but not by a lot, because with three-sided PLL recognition, all you have to do is recognize these two and quickly look at the other side for confirmation. So in this case, if I look at headlights and bar here, I know it could be a G Perm or an A Perm. All I have to do is look over here, confirm that it's a G Perm, and then do the algorithm. And so doing this is much easier and much faster than doing this, for example, for PLO. So in that case, three-sided PLO recognition wouldn't actually be that bad. And three-sided PLL recognition is really useful in recognizing G Perms. And so from this angle, this looks like a G Perm. It could also be an A Perm or an R Perm. But if we look at this side, there's a block here, so it's definitely not the R Perm. It could also be the A Perm, but how I recognize this is that if we have opposite colors between the headlights, it's going to be a G Perm and not an A Perm. And so if it was an A Perm, there would be adjacent colors between the headlights. So this is definitely a G Perm. So for this PLO, you could actually recognize it just by using these two angles here. And the way to recognize it is to look at this checkerboard pattern here. Green, orange, green, orange. So if there was another green here, it would be an R Perm with the bar at the back here. But since the checkerboard pattern only goes for 4 stickers, it's going to be a G Perm. And if we look at this side, no bar here, so the bar is at the back, so it's the GC Perm. And for the final G Perm, we can also use 3-sided PLL recognition. So quickly look at this side. It doesn't really look like much, but as soon as we see the bar here, it's obviously going to be another one of the G Perms. And so with 3-sided PLL recognition, all you have to do is tilt the cube over, which is a lot faster than looking at the back, and you can recognize more complicated PLOs such as G Perms, R Perms, etc. So this one, another G Perm. So that's it for the 2-sided PLL recognition. Those were some of the easier cases that I thought were pretty easy to recognize. Hope you guys learnt something. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.